Okay, so I just want to take a quick look at how we can create a contemporary high contrast portrait in Photoshop Elements. As ever, you'll find the start image on this month's cover CD. I've got the start image open in Elements here, and we need to begin by simply desaturating the image itself. So just working on the background layer, we'll go to Enhance, Adjust Colour and Remove Colour. Now you'll see at this stage we've got this fairly kind of lackluster monochrome image. We obviously need to do quite a bit of work on this to increase the contrast and give it a little bit of impact. To do that, we're going to use an adjustment layer, simply because that gives us the opportunity to re-edit the levels adjustment if we need to. Let's just pull this into view here. So we're going to begin the effect simply by adjusting the black and white points of the image below the histogram itself. We'll simply click and hold on the white point slider there, and we'll slowly drag it to the right. All we're doing now is increasing the brightness of the highlights in the image. We'll do exactly the same, dragging to the right with the black point slider, so we can really punch the blacks there. I want a little more contrast than this, so we're simply going to grab the gamma slider in the middle and drag it to the left slightly, just to lighten those mid-tones a bit. Now this is really a case of pretty much trial and error here. We want to adjust the highlights until they're just bright enough but not too blown out. Same goes for the shadows. We want to adjust these until the shadows are really nice and rich, but once again not blocked up too much. Gamma slider really quite important. If we push this too far, you'll see things start to posterize a little. So you really need to use your kind of judgment on this until you're happy with the results. You can see we've just got a highlight there beginning to blow out on the forehead, and I think for where we need to be at this point, that's about dead on. I think that's about right. Probably just a tiny little bit more adjustment. So it will depend on the image you actually use, but something like that is exactly what we want. When you're happy with the adjustment, simply click OK. So unless you want to re-edit this adjustment layer, which you can do simply by double clicking it, we're ready to actually flatten the image now. So we'll do this via layer and flatten image. Okay, so that's made our basic adjustments, and it's given us a nice image to kind of do some more work on. What we want to actually use now are the dodge and burn tools. You'll find these at the bottom of the toolbar here. Going to choose the dodge tool first of all. We want to lighten the kind of mid-tones in the hair here. Always a good idea. Do this on a duplicate layer. So I'll choose that. Let's set the range for the dodge tool. Remember, the dodge tool lightens tones to mid-tones, and we want to set the exposure fairly low, somewhere around 10% will be ideal. And you can see now, as I start to just dodge over these mid-tones in the hair, how we start to lighten them. That gives us quite a bit more kind of impact and tonality to the image, and once again gives the impression of really increasing the contrast here. We can choose many tones, or we can choose 3 ranges of tones to use with both the dodge and burn tool. We could also choose highlights here, and once again have a couple more strokes over this hair to actually bring the highlights out in those areas. Still using the highlights as the range, just reduce the size, and we can bring these nice little catch lights out in the eyes here, and we can generally sort of really carefully manipulate areas of highlight just to bring them up a bit and really make them sing. So it's a case of once again using your judgment here, and kind of think of this as painting with light, so we can selectively kind of bring these highlight areas out. Same goes for the burn tool. We'll select that and we'll choose mid-tones for the range. Once again, use a fairly low exposure setting. Burn tool darkens, so with this we're going to be darkening the mid-tones in the image, and once again by doing this we can selectively darken areas of mid-tone to really give these faces a little extra modelling. One final thing, if your background didn't turn out completely white without burning out these kind of highlights on the faces altogether, once again we can use the dodge tool here set to highlights to really burn away any tone left in this background, and obviously with the range set to highlights this will only affect the highlights, so we can use that as a really effective way of brightening that background. Okay, so have a go at that to create your contemporary high contrast